sport at this point.
Yeah, so speaking of the 10 pounds of gold series, a few weeks ago you took on friend of the show Flip Gordon with major all-in implications. Has there been any match or storyline that really stood out to you as being your favorite or most important?
That's probably the one so far. I mean, obviously the build to Cody and I is a whole other level. It's bigger than anything. It's one of the biggest things in wrestling. So to go from, obviously the opponents I've had for the NWA have been varied, and they've been some have been on bigger shows, some have been on not so bigger shows. But that was with a purpose, which was to build a sort of a mythology or a lore, a story behind the fact that I was traveling the world defending the title like the NWA champion should. And so, yeah, but as far as I think we proved that, me against Flip, I like to have matches like that. I like wrestling guys like Flip, but it's fine to just do a match, but it's a whole other thing to do a match when you actually have a real story and real stakes.
Yeah.
A match without stakes is just an exhibition, and there's too much exhibition going on right now, in my opinion.
Now, with the idea of the NWA title being defended all over the world, it's a great nostalgia feeling, and it was a part of the title's lineage, and it's continuing that. Was that always the intent for the championship to be defended in all these different promotions?
I don't know. I think that happened organically. Just because I had a lot of existing bookings at the time where I won the championship, and then obviously all of those promoters and bookers suddenly said, "Hey, what do we have to do to make it a title match? Is there some way we can make it a title match?" And at first we were toying with the idea of going, well, maybe we should save it and make it like only a special occasion thing, and then kind of like we have with Cody, in the sense that like, well, let's make them wait and we'll do the prize fight thing. And I basically resisted that in the beginning because I said we can get to that later, but what we have to do now is refamiliarize everyone with this championship, and we need to take it as many places as we can so people get to see it and understand it.
And with that being a career type job and you being daddy's little girl, how did it go breaking it to your parents that you wanted to leave that and pursue wrestling? Because all parents, they want their children to be stable and have a career, and go into something that's not, it's kind of an uncertainty. How did they take that?
How did Dad take it? Well, I remember Dad having a huge smile and grin on his face, telling me, "You better go do it now. You're only getting older." And Mom was like, "No, why would you want to do that? You could get hurt." So I actually took my parents with me. It was September of 2014, down to Orlando to the Team Vision Dojo. We watched an I Believe in Wrestling event. The three of us drove down to Orlando. And I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to move here, get in a ring with a bunch of sweaty men and women, and have them teach me how to wrestle. And hey, look, if it doesn't work out, I go back home and I continue being an EMT. I live happily ever after, right? And yeah, my mom was just like, why do you want to do this? Dad
wasn't a great idea was the fact that you guys were taking off Raw early last year, because I thought the audience needed to see you guys too, as well as on 205 Live to get an idea. And like you said, you guys getting off the pay-per-view cards onto pre-shows or not on the card at all. Do you think you guys got the right exposure?
I think that I agree with, I think, what you said, and you could kind of see it. Like, I would see it, I think from a fan's perspective, it's hard because you're on one side of the fence and so many groups of fans, you get like, they exist in echo chambers, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't really see the whole picture, but like from the inside looking out, I could see the way everybody perceives us and the differences. And I could see like the initial group that came in, there was like 4 or 5 of us that were showcased a lot. Say like me, Rich, Brian, Cedric. We were consistently on like Raw every week and then heavily featured on 205s. And to this day, if we do like, when we would do access, like even just at this recent Royal Rumble access, a lot of people, their perception of the Cruiserweight division is still us 4.
Really?
Like, that's how big that perception was and how disconnected it became once it got moved off. Like some of the guys that are headlining 205 now, people don't even know they're on the show because they kind of tuned out once we were moved off of Raw, and that hurts the group, you know?
Yeah.